When you see an opportunist, you readily know them. But it does not take everyone to see an opportunist, or it's not everyone that can recognize an opportunist in politics. The name is Mandela, and welcome to Mandela Unveiled. When I say the ANC and Cyril Ramaphosa's case against Israel at the ICJ was all political, some people probably did not make sense with me, to the extent that some people called me a fool in the comment section and others called me a hater of South Africa. But you are all witness to it now, because Ramaphosa, in his own words, said the fight back may also focus on our domestic politics and our electoral outcomes in order to pursue the regime change agenda. You see, Ramaphosa and the ANC saw a political vacuum in the Israel-Hamas war and how things were going. And they have seen that the people of South Africa will vote against the ANC this time around. And looking at the dynamics, the ANC stand to lose these elections. So this was a strategic and calculated move to go into this case claiming to be supporters of Palestinians, just to use this and come back and tell the ANC voters and South Africans that this is what we have done, and they want to pursue us. They want to rig the elections. They want to bring about a regime change and impose people on you. We care about you. Can't you see that we went to ICJ to fight for the people of Palestine? So we care about human rights. We care about you. And the agenda is against us. So please, they want to play into the emotions of South Africans. And that is what they have partially achieved. But dear South Africans, beware, because Ramaphosa and his comrades do not care about you, South Africans. They think that by coming out to make these proclamations and statements, it will change the minds of South Africans. Well, to those South Africans who may have a change of mind based on these statements, please, just know that they are playing with your emotions. For years, the ANC has deepened inequality in South Africa. Crime has been on the rise. The ANC government has been corrupt. Recently, the corruption index, perception index, has been released. South Africa ranks below Ghana, ranks below Rwanda, ranks below Kenya, etc., etc. These are countries that South Africa should have ranked above. South Africa ranks with a score of 41%. The corruption perception index means that corruption is deep-seated in South Africa. So for 30 years, the ANC has taken South Africa backwards. They may argue that this is a perception index, but the ANC and South Africans and Africans know that this is not just a perception, but it's the reality. It is the truth, because they are looting the citizens. So dear South Africans, this was all a scheme by the ANC to hide behind the Palestinian cause. However, you must beware. He went on to say, we didn't take the matter to a kangaroo court. We went to the very court that they themselves set up in terms of the rules that they set up, and we should not be blamed for doing so. Dear Ramaphosa, if you say it wasn't a kangaroo court you took the case to, what did you arrest Omar al-Bashir when your party, the ANC, had the chance to? Did you arrest Vladimir Putin? You organized series of press conferences, and Madame Pando was talking very vocal everywhere.
I think this notion of international rules is very comfortable for some people to use when it suits them, but they don't believe in international rules when it doesn't suit them, because they don't apply international rules or law equally in all circumstances. So you can't say because Ukraine has been invaded that suddenly sovereignty is important, but it was never important for Palestine. It's very peculiar. If you believe in international law truly, then wherever sovereignty is infringed, it must apply.
Today, and the same Pando was saying that when the developed countries see that things do not favor them, they try to trick the wolves. But when it favors them, they want to stick with it. Aren't you also doing the same? Don't always preach virtue when you practice vice. And don't also speak when things do not go in your favor, because that is exactly what you are doing. That is exactly what you have done. Because the arrest warrant was for Vladimir Putin, and he is your ally, it didn't go in your favor. So you had to push it aside. And you said Vladimir Putin was welcome to South Africa. Now, it is the time for you to take the case to the ICJ. You see how it is. Miss Pando, that is how the world is. So when you want to take it, when you are taking decisions, take the decisions and stand by it. You call the court a kangaroo court by refusing to adhere to its ruling against Vladimir Putin. Today, Ramaphosa, you are the same person telling us that the ICJ is not a kangaroo court. Really? When did you know it wasn't a kangaroo court? When did you know? And please, dear Ramaphosa, don't try to play with the emotions of South Africans. Nobody is trying to meddle with the elections in South Africa. You have been an incompetent president leading an incompetent government and leading an incompetent political party, the ANC. Just look at this. School children have to cross rivers to go to school. Just have a look at this. Mothers holding their kids to cross rivers to get to the next hospital. This problem can be solved with building a simple bridge. And this is the reality the people in the Eastern Cape face. Why must it be so, dear Ramaphosa? Every time it's power tussle. Either Jacob Zuma moves out, either this person does that, and what is all this? Right, Jacob Zuma, Cyril Ramaphosa, you have all failed. You have all failed. You have made it apparent that we are not even capable of ruling ourselves. The only difference between South Africa and other African countries that were colonized is because with South Africa, the colonizers or the apartheid regime did the development in South Africa, where they still live now. But other African countries, the colonizers took the resources out of Africa. So African countries have to start building their countries right from scratch again. And everything was laid on a silver platter for South African leaders. And what did they do? Oh, surely Nelson Mandela will be turning in his grave by now, because the country he left is in a state of a mess. And you must all bow your heads in shame. This is not the where South Africa is supposed to be. A corruption perception index of 41 score. That is abysmal. Well, as the saying goes, a way to the wise is a nod. The decision is in the hands of the electorate. You either decide to vote these people out. Nelson Mandela said, if the ANC does to you what the apartheid regime did to you, then do to them what you did to the apartheid regime. South Africans kicked the apartheid regime out, meaning the ANC right now is repeating the same atrocities the apartheid regime did. So now is the time for South Africans to kick the ANC out and bring someone better who can unite the country, who is incorruptible, who can bring both white and black as one to work and move the country forward. For me, from where I sit, I do not know. I do not know. Only South Africans know who the best candidate is. The way they say is enough to the wise. The name is Mandela on Mandela Unveiled. Make sure to subscribe. Leave us a comment. Share and reshare. Post and repost. Like our videos. Tell us what you want us to discuss. And also make sure to watch our other videos. Until we meet next time, adios.